It was a rainy Friday night when I found myself scrolling through the depths of the internet, a place most people would never dare to tread. The glow of my computer screen illuminated my cramped apartment, casting shadows on the walls that danced like phantoms. I had heard whispers about the dark web stories filled with intrigue and danger, but curiosity had always been my greatest flaw. I was in a rut, stuck in a monotonous routine that felt like a slow descent into mediocrity. My job at the local marketing firm barely paid the bills, and my social life had dwindled to sporadic texts with friends who were too busy to meet. The thought of discovering something extraordinary, something that could change my life, was tantalizing. That's when I stumbled upon a forum titled Future Sight, promising insights into one's future for a price. The post was simple yet enticing. Ever wondered what lies ahead? For just $500 I can reveal your destiny. But beware, knowledge comes at a cost. My heart raced as I read through the comments, people sharing their experiences, some praising the service while others warned of dire consequences. Yet, despite the warnings, the allure of knowing my future was too strong to resist. After hours of deliberation, I decided to take the plunge. I transferred the money using an untraceable cryptocurrency and received an encrypted message with instructions. The anticipation was electric. I felt like an explorer about to uncover lost treasure. The message instructed me to log into a specific chat room at midnight, where I would receive my reading. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. What if this was all a scam? What if I was about to open a door that should remain closed? Yet, deep down, I craved answers that could pull me from my mundane existence. At exactly midnight, I logged into the chat room. The interface was stark and minimalistic, with only a few lines of text flickering on my screen. Future Sight, welcome. Are you ready to discover your future? I hesitated for a moment before typing back, yes. The screen flickered again, as if acknowledging my response. A series of questions appeared, each probing deeper into my psyche. What were my greatest fears? My deepest desires? My biggest regrets? As I typed my answers, I felt an unsettling sensation creeping up my spine. It was as if someone or something was watching me. After what felt like an eternity of answering questions, a new message appeared. Future Sight, your future is being calculated. Please wait. I leaned back in my chair, trying to calm my racing heart. A part of me wanted to close the window and forget this madness entirely, but another part, the part that craved excitement, held me captive. Moments later, the screen flashed again. Future Sight, your reading is ready. Prepare yourself for what you are about to learn. A chill ran through me as I read the words on the screen. In 3 months, you will face a choice that will alter your life forever. My breath caught in my throat as I continued reading. It detailed events that would lead up to this choice, encounters with people who would influence me profoundly, decisions that would test my moral compass, and ultimately a revelation that would shatter everything I believed about myself. The final line sent shivers down my spine. Beware of those who seek to manipulate your fate. They are closer than you think. I sat frozen in front of my computer screen, grappling with what I had just read. Was this some elaborate hoax, or had I truly peered into a future that was already set in motion? The excitement that initially surged through me began to twist into something darker, a sense of impending doom. As the night wore on, sleep eluded me. My mind raced with possibilities and what-ifs. Who were these people who would come into my life? What kind of choice awaited me? And most importantly, who were those who sought to manipulate my fate? The rain continued to pour outside, each drop echoing like a countdown clock, reminding me that time was slipping away. Little did I know then that this was just the beginning, a mere prologue to a nightmare that would soon unfold. This segment sets up your story by introducing the protagonist's motivations and establishing an eerie atmosphere filled with suspense and curiosity. Let me know if you need further assistance or additional segments. The following days were a blur. I tried to return to my normal routine, but the reading from Future Sight haunted my thoughts. Each time I passed a mirror, I caught a glimpse of myself, an ordinary person with an ordinary life, but now I felt like a character in a twisted tale, teetering on the edge of fate. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming, something that would change everything. I found myself obsessively checking my messages, half expecting to see an ominous notification from Future Sight. But nothing came. It was as if the dark web had swallowed my future whole, leaving me in a limbo of uncertainty. Each day I grew more anxious, more desperate for answers. The reading had promised a choice, but what if I was simply doomed to watch my life unravel without any control? Then, one evening, while scrolling through the same forum where I had discovered Future Sight, I stumbled upon another post titled Destiny Unveiled. It was from a user named The Oracle, who claimed to offer personalized readings with even greater accuracy than Future Sight. The post was littered with testimonials from people whose lives had been irrevocably changed by their services. Some spoke of incredible fortunes, others warned of catastrophic events they had avoided thanks to their foresight. My heart raced as I read through the glowing reviews. This could be the key to understanding what lay ahead. Perhaps if I could get more clarity on that fateful choice, I could prepare myself for whatever was coming. The allure was irresistible. After another internal debate, I decided to take the plunge once more. This time, however, I would be more cautious. I researched the Oracle extensively, digging through threads and comments. Many users claimed that their readings were eerily accurate, but there were also whispers of darker consequences, people who had been driven to madness after learning too much about their futures. Nonetheless, my curiosity outweighed my fear. With trembling hands, I sent a private message to the Oracle expressing my interest in their services. Within minutes, I received a response: welcome, seeker of truth. Knowledge is power. Are you willing to pay the price? I hesitated, but quickly typed back, yes. The Oracle replied with payment instructions that mirrored those from Future Sight: untraceable cryptocurrency and an encrypted link to a private chat room. My heart pounded as I transferred another $500 into the digital void. A sense of dread washed over me as I completed the transaction. It felt like sealing a pact with something sinister. That night, as darkness enveloped my apartment, I logged into the private chat room as instructed. The interface was similar to Future Sight's, minimalistic and cold, but this time it felt different. It felt alive with an unsettling energy. The Oracle: welcome back. Are you ready for your destiny? I typed yes. The Oracle: to reveal your future, you must first confront your past. What is it that haunts you? The question struck me like a bolt of lightning. Memories flooded my mind, regrets from my youth, mistakes that still echoed in my heart. I began typing furiously. I regret not pursuing my passion for art. Instead, I chose a safe career that suffocates me. The Oracle: a wise choice to confront your fears. Now tell me about your greatest desire. I paused for a moment before responding. I want to be free to create without limits. The Oracle: freedom comes at a cost. Are you prepared to pay it? A chill ran down my spine at those words. What did they mean? But before I could respond, another message appeared. The Oracle: your future awaits. But beware, knowledge can be both a gift and a curse. Prepare yourself for what is about to come. As soon as I hit enter, the screen flickered ominously before displaying another reading, a series of images and words that scrolled rapidly before my eyes. They were jumbled at first, but soon formed coherent thoughts. In 6 weeks' time, you will meet someone who will change your life forever, a mentor who will guide you toward your true calling. My heart raced at this revelation. Perhaps this was what I had been waiting for. But then came the chilling continuation. But beware, this mentor is not who they appear to be. Their intentions are shrouded in darkness. I felt my stomach drop as dread settled over me like a heavy fog. Who could this mentor be? What kind of darkness lurked behind their facade? The messages continued. You will face trials that will test your resolve, temptations that will lead you astray if you are not careful. I sat back in my chair, overwhelmed by the weight of these predictions. As much as I wanted to believe in this potential for freedom and creativity, the warnings loomed larger than ever. Suddenly, an unexpected message popped up on my screen. The Oracle: there is one final truth you must know before we part ways. Trust no one. Before I could process this cryptic warning or respond with questions of my own, the chat abruptly ended. The screen went dark, as if someone had pulled the plug on reality itself. I sat there in stunned silence, grappling with fear and anticipation swirling within me like a storm. What had I just unleashed? As the clock ticked away in the background, each second felt like an echo reverberating through time, a countdown toward an inevitable confrontation with fate. Little did I know that this was only the beginning of my descent into chaos. This segment builds tension by introducing new elements and deepening the protagonist's conflict, while hinting at future dangers and choices they will face. Let me know if you need further assistance or additional segments. The next few weeks passed in a haze of anxiety and anticipation. I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder, half expecting to encounter the mysterious mentor foretold by the Oracle. Each day felt like a ticking clock, counting down to the moment when my life would change forever. I tried to focus on my work, but the mundane tasks at the marketing firm felt increasingly trivial compared to the weight of my impending fate. I began to notice subtle changes in my behavior. I was more withdrawn, often lost in thought while my colleagues chatted around me. My friends commented on my distracted demeanor, asking if I was okay. I brushed off their concerns with vague reassurances, but inside I felt like a tightly coiled spring, ready to snap at any moment. Then came the day that changed everything, a Thursday afternoon when I received an unexpected email from a local art gallery. They were hosting an open call for new artists, and something compelled me to submit my work. It had been years since I had picked up a paintbrush, but a sudden surge of inspiration coursed through me. I spent the entire night creating a piece that reflected my inner turmoil, dark, chaotic strokes intertwined with bursts of vibrant color. When I submitted my piece, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me. Perhaps this was what the oracle meant by freedom. Maybe this was the first step toward reclaiming my passion. But as I reveled in this small victory, a nagging voice in the back of my mind reminded me of the oracle's warning: trust no one. Days turned into weeks, and as the deadline for the gallery's decision approached, I found myself increasingly anxious. What if they rejected my work? What if all this was for nothing? My mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. Then came the fateful day, the day I would either soar or crash. I arrived at the gallery early, heart pounding in anticipation. As artists gathered around me, discussing their pieces with excitement, I felt out of place among these confident creators. But then something caught my eye, a figure standing apart from the crowd. He was tall and imposing, dressed in an elegant black suit that seemed to absorb the light around him. His hair was slicked back neatly, and his eyes, sharp and piercing, seemed to see right through me. There was an air of authority about him that drew me closer against my better judgment. "Is this your work?" he asked, gesturing toward my painting displayed prominently on the wall. I nodded, feeling both flattered and intimidated by his presence. "Yes, it's about finding freedom through chaos." He studied the painting intently for a moment before turning his gaze back to me. "You have talent," he said slowly. "But talent alone is not enough." My heart raced as he continued speaking, his voice smooth and captivating. "You need guidance, someone who can help you harness that talent and turn it into something extraordinary." I felt an electric thrill at his words. Could this be the mentor the oracle had warned me about? Yet there was something magnetic about him that made it hard to resist. "I'm looking for direction," I admitted hesitantly. "Then allow me to introduce myself," he said with a slight smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "I'm Victor Harrow, a curator with connections that can elevate your art beyond anything you've ever imagined." For a moment, everything felt perfect. The promise of success hung tantalizingly close. But then the oracle's warning echoed in my mind: trust no one. Despite my instincts screaming at me to walk away, curiosity got the better of me. We exchanged contact information, and he promised to set up a meeting to discuss potential opportunities. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, excitement battled with dread within me. Was Victor truly a mentor, or merely a manipulator? My thoughts spiraled into dark territories as I recalled the oracle's ominous words about temptations leading me astray. The following week passed in agonizing anticipation until Victor finally called to arrange our meeting, a coffee shop downtown where he often met artists seeking guidance. As I approached the cafe on that crisp autumn morning, doubt gnawed at me like an insatiable beast. Victor was already seated at a corner table when I arrived, his demeanor calm and collected as he sipped from a steaming cup of coffee. He greeted me with an inviting smile that made it difficult to remember why I had been wary in the first place. "Glad you could make it," he said smoothly. "I've been looking forward to discussing your future." As we talked about art and ambition, Victor painted vivid pictures of what could be exhibitions in prestigious galleries, connections with influential figures in the art world, the life I had always dreamed of, but never thought possible. Yet beneath his charismatic exterior lay something unsettling. There were moments when his gaze lingered just a second too long, or when his smile seemed too sharp, like a predator sizing up its prey. "Tell me," he said suddenly, leaning forward slightly, "what do you fear most?" The question caught me off guard. It felt too personal for such an early stage in our acquaintance. But something compelled me to answer honestly: I fear losing myself in this pursuit, becoming someone I'm not just for success. Victor's expression shifted slightly. There was an intensity in his eyes that sent shivers down my spine. "That's wise," he replied softly. "But remember, every choice comes with sacrifices." His words hung heavy between us like an unspoken threat, igniting an internal struggle within me. What sacrifices would be required? What price would I pay for success? As we continued our conversation over coffee, Victor outlined plans for collaboration projects that would showcase my work alongside established artists, but each proposal felt increasingly daunting, as if they were leading me down a path from which there would be no return. By the time we parted ways that day, I was left feeling exhilarated yet terrified, a mix of hope and dread swirling within me like storm clouds gathering on the horizon. In the days that followed our meeting, Victor became a constant presence in my life, texting suggestions for new projects and encouraging me to push boundaries creatively. Yet every interaction left me with lingering questions. Who was he really? What did he want from me? And then came another message from the Oracle, an encrypted notification that sent chills racing through me. "The Oracle, your time is running out. Beware of those who seek control over your destiny." Panic surged within me as dread settled like lead in my stomach. Could Victor be manipulating my fate? Was he truly guiding me toward success or leading me into darkness? As uncertainty consumed me once more, one thing became clear: whatever choice awaited me would not only shape my future, but also test everything I believed about trust and myself. This segment deepens the protagonist's conflict and introduces key elements of suspense regarding their relationship with Victor, while keeping readers engaged with questions about trust and fate. Let me know if you need further assistance or additional segments. The weeks that followed my meeting with Victor were a whirlwind of activity. I found myself swept up in a creative frenzy, fueled by his encouragement and the intoxicating promise of success. My art transformed. Each brushstroke felt more deliberate, more powerful, as if I were channeling something greater than myself. Yet, beneath this exhilarating surface, a sense of foreboding loomed like a dark cloud. Victor became an omnipresent figure in my life. He would text me late at night with ideas for new projects, always pushing me to explore deeper themes and darker emotions. "Art is about confronting your fears," he would say, his voice echoing in my mind. "Only then can you truly connect with your audience." But each time I pushed my boundaries, I felt a piece of myself slip away, a sensation that was both liberating and terrifying. I started to question whether I was losing my identity in pursuit of this new path. The Oracle's warning echoed incessantly: trust no one. Despite my growing unease, I couldn't deny the thrill of recognition that came with each completed piece. Victor arranged for my work to be displayed at pop-up galleries and underground exhibitions, where it received rave reviews. People praised my raw emotion and unique style, but the louder their applause grew, the more isolated I felt. It was as if I were standing on a pedestal while everyone else remained in the shadows. One evening, after a particularly successful exhibition, Victor invited me to celebrate at an upscale bar downtown. The atmosphere buzzed with energy as we entered. Laughter and music filled the air, creating an intoxicating backdrop for our conversation. "Tonight is just the beginning," he said, raising his glass in a toast. "You're on the brink of something extraordinary." As we sipped our drinks, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something sinister lurking beneath Victor's charm. He had introduced me to influential figures in the art world, people who seemed genuinely interested in my work, but I couldn't help but wonder what he stood to gain from all this. "Tell me," Victor said suddenly, leaning closer. "What do you want most out of this journey?" The question caught me off guard. It felt too intimate for such a casual setting. "I want to create art that resonates with people," I replied cautiously. "I want to inspire others." Victor's smile widened, but there was an intensity in his gaze that sent shivers down my spine. "And what if it comes at a cost? What if you have to sacrifice something or someone to achieve that?" His words hung heavy in the air like a dark omen. My heart raced as I recalled the Oracle's warning: beware of those who seek to manipulate your fate. Before I could respond, Victor changed the subject, regaling me with stories of artists who had made sacrifices for their craft, some who had lost relationships, or even their sanity in pursuit of greatness. Each tale felt like a warning wrapped in inspiration. As the night wore on, I found myself caught between exhilaration and dread. Was Victor truly looking out for me, or was he leading me down a path of destruction? The following days blurred into one another as I continued to work tirelessly on new pieces for upcoming exhibitions. But with each brushstroke came an unsettling realization: I was increasingly haunted by nightmares that left me waking in cold sweats. In these dreams, Shadows whispered dark secrets, while faceless figures loomed over me, their intentions shrouded in mystery. Each time I awoke gasping for breath, the oracle's words echoed in my mind, "Trust no one." One night, after another exhausting day in the studio, I decided to confront Victor about my growing unease during our next meeting. As we sat across from each other at a small cafe, I took a deep breath and spoke up. "Victor," I began hesitantly, "I've been feeling overwhelmed lately. Sometimes it feels like I'm losing myself in all this." He regarded me with an inscrutable expression before leaning forward slightly. "You're not losing yourself, you're evolving," he replied smoothly. "Greatness requires sacrifice, sometimes even pain." His words sent chills down my spine as they resonated uncomfortably within me. But at what cost, I pressed. Victor's gaze hardened momentarily before returning to its usual charm. "You'll understand soon enough," he said cryptically. That evening marked a turning point. Something shifted within me as doubt clawed at my mind like a ravenous beast. The more success I achieved under Victor's guidance, the more isolated I felt, like an artist trapped within their own masterpiece. Then came another message from the Oracle. "The Oracle, your choices are leading you toward darkness. Beware those who seek control over your destiny." Panic surged through me as dread settled like lead in my stomach. Could Victor be manipulating my fate? Was he truly guiding me toward success or leading me into darkness? As uncertainty consumed me once more, one thing became clear: whatever choice awaited me would not only shape my future but also test everything I believed about trust and myself. Days turned into weeks as exhibitions came and went. Praise poured in from critics and collectors alike, while my internal turmoil grew ever more pronounced. Each time someone complimented my work or expressed interest in purchasing it, I felt a pang of guilt and awareness that beneath this facade lay an unsettling truth. Then came the day when everything changed. A phone call from Victor that shattered whatever semblance of stability remained in my life. "Meet me at the gallery tonight," he instructed tersely over the phone. "It's urgent." I arrived at the gallery feeling uneasy as shadows danced across the walls under dim lighting, a stark contrast to the vibrant energy of previous exhibitions. Victor stood waiting near one of my pieces, his expression grave. "What's going on?" I asked nervously. He gestured for me to follow him into a secluded corner where we wouldn't be overheard. "We need to talk about your future," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" "Maine. There are people who want to invest in your work, powerful people who can take you places you've only dreamed of," he explained slowly. My heart raced at this prospect. It sounded promising yet ominous all at once. "And what do they want from me?" Victor hesitated before responding. "They want access to your creative process, your life, everything." A chill ran down my spine as realization dawned upon me. This wasn't just about art anymore, it was about control. "I don't know if I'm comfortable with it," I replied cautiously. Victor stepped closer, his voice low and persuasive. "You have talent that deserves recognition. Don't let fear hold you back." But fear gripped me tightly. It was suffocating as visions of losing myself flashed before my eyes, the very thing the Oracle had warned against. Suddenly overwhelmed by conflicting emotions, ambition battling against instinct, I took a step back from him. "I need time to think," I said firmly before turning away from him and leaving the gallery behind. As I walked home through dimly lit streets filled with echoes of laughter and life around me, dread settled heavily upon my shoulders, like an unwelcome cloak, a reminder that every choice carried weight beyond measure. That night marked another sleepless episode filled with nightmares, visions of faceless figures lurking just outside reach, while whispers taunted me relentlessly, "Trust no one." By morning light filtering through curtains drawn tight against reality's encroachment upon dreams long forgotten, I knew deep down that whatever decision lay ahead would determine not just how far I'd rise, but also what I'd sacrifice along the way. This segment intensifies the protagonist's internal conflict and introduces critical moments that heighten suspense while exploring themes of trust and ambition versus self-preservation. Let me know if you need further assistance or additional segments. The sun rose the next morning, casting a pale light across my apartment, but I felt no warmth. The weight of my decision loomed over me like a storm cloud, dark and oppressive. I had spent the night wrestling with my thoughts, replaying every moment with Victor in vivid detail. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was standing on the precipice of something monumental, something that could either elevate me to heights I had only dreamed of, or plunge me into an abyss from which there would be no return. As I prepared for the day, I found myself staring at my latest painting, a chaotic swirl of colors that mirrored my inner turmoil. It was raw and unfiltered, a reflection of everything I had been feeling. Yet, as much as I loved it, I felt an unsettling sense of dread every time I looked at it. I decided to take a walk to clear my mind. The streets were bustling with life. People hurried past me, absorbed in their own worlds. But as I walked, I felt increasingly disconnected from everything around me. It was as if I were moving through a dream, everything vibrant yet distant. Then, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from Victor. "We need to talk. Meet me at the gallery tonight." A chill ran down my spine as memories of our last conversation flooded back. My instincts screamed at me to ignore him, to cut ties and walk away from this madness once and for all. But curiosity and fear intertwined within me, compelling me to go. That evening, I arrived at the gallery with a heavy heart. The atmosphere felt different, charged with an energy that set my nerves on edge. As I stepped inside, Victor was already waiting for me near my painting, his expression unreadable. "Thank you for coming," he said, his tone serious. "I have something important to discuss." "What is it?" I asked cautiously. Victor gestured for me to follow him into a private room at the back of the gallery, a space filled with dim lighting and shadows that seemed to writhe against the walls. "I've arranged for you to meet some influential people tonight," he said, his voice low and conspiratorial. My heart raced at the prospect. This could be my big break, the opportunity I had been waiting for. But doubt gnawed at me like a persistent itch. "And what do they want from me?" "They want access to your creative process," he replied smoothly. "They believe you have untapped potential that could be cultivated." "Cultivated," I echoed, feeling uneasy about his choice of words. "Yes," he said, stepping closer. "They want to help you reach your full potential, but there's always a price." I took a step back instinctively. Something about his demeanor felt predatory. What kind of price? Victor's eyes narrowed slightly as he leaned in closer. "You'll need to give them something in return: your trust, your loyalty, perhaps even your soul." The words hung heavy in the air between us like an unspoken threat. My heart pounded as realization dawned upon me. Victor wasn't just a mentor, he was manipulating me, using my ambition against me. "I'm not interested," I said firmly, backing away from him. "Think carefully about this choice," Victor warned, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. "You're on the brink of greatness. Don't let fear hold you back." But fear surged within me like a tidal wave. It was suffocating as visions of losing myself flashed before my eyes, the very thing the Oracle had warned against. "Get away from me," I shouted suddenly, turning on my heel and rushing toward the exit. As I pushed through the gallery doors into the cool night air, panic gripped me like a vice. My heart raced as I stumbled down the street, desperate to escape Victor's influence and reclaim control over my life. But just as relief began to wash over me, my phone buzzed again, another message from the Oracle. "The Oracle, your choices are leading you toward darkness. Beware those who seek control over your destiny." Panic surged through me as dread settled like lead in my stomach. Could Victor be manipulating my fate? Was he truly guiding me toward success or leading me into darkness? In that moment of clarity amidst chaos, I made a decision. I would confront Victor one last time and demand answers about his true intentions. The next day, fueled by determination and fearlessness born from desperation, I returned to the gallery, a place that now felt tainted by shadows lurking just beyond sight. Victor was waiting for me in the same dimly lit room where we had spoken before, a predatory glint in his eyes that sent chills racing down my spine. "I knew you'd come back," he said with an unsettling smile. "Cut the games," I snapped, anger coursing through me like fire. "What do you really want?" He regarded me thoughtfully before responding slowly. "I want what's best for you, what's best for your art." "And what does that entail?" "Access," he replied simply. "Access to your creative soul, the very essence that makes you unique." My heart raced as realization washed over me. This wasn't just about art anymore, it was about control over who I was becoming. "I refuse to let you manipulate me any longer," I declared defiantly. Victor's expression darkened momentarily before returning to its usual charm, a mask hiding something far more sinister beneath. "You think you can walk away? You think it's that simple?" In that instant, something shifted within him. His demeanor morphed into something darker and more menacing as shadows seemed to gather around him like storm clouds ready to unleash their fury. "Your talent is too great to let go," he hissed softly. "You belong with us now, Before I could react or comprehend his words fully, he lunged forward, his hands grasping mine with an iron grip that sent shockwaves through my body. Suddenly, everything around us shifted. The gallery walls warped and twisted, as if reality itself were bending under pressure. Whispers filled the air, dark voices echoing warnings and promises alike, while shadows writhed just beyond reach. No, I screamed desperately against this overwhelming force threatening to consume me whole. With every ounce of strength left within me, I broke free from his grasp, stumbling backward until crashing into one of my paintings hanging on the wall behind me. The canvas tore under pressure, a violent rip echoing through space as colors exploded outward like fireworks, igniting darkness itself. In that moment of chaos, the world around us shattered into fragments, revealing glimpses of truth hidden beneath layers upon layers of deception. Visions flashed before my eyes, my past mistakes mingling with futures, yet unwritten, all colliding together in an explosive crescendo demanding resolution. Victor's face twisted into fury as he lunged again, but this time something shifted within me, a surge of power rising up from deep within my core, fueled by defiance against manipulation. No more, I shouted defiantly as energy coursed through every fiber of my being, a blinding light erupting forth, illuminating shadows lurking just beyond reach. The force radiated outward, pushing Victor back until he collided against one wall, the darkness retreating momentarily before swirling around him like smoke, attempting desperately to reclaim its hold. "You cannot escape," he roared angrily, but his voice faltered under pressure as light continued pushing against him relentlessly. "This is my destiny." With one final surge fueled by determination, I thrust forward, unleashing all pent-up energy until it collided against him, a brilliant explosion erupting forth, engulfing everything in its wake. When silence fell once more, I stood alone amidst remnants scattered across what once was a gallery, transformed into chaos, now littered with broken pieces reflecting shattered dreams alongside newfound freedom. Breathless yet exhilarated, I surveyed what remained around me, remnants of paintings torn apart, revealing glimpses into futures unwritten, while shadows retreated into corners long forgotten. As dawn broke outside, illuminating remnants scattered across ground below, I knew deep down that whatever choice awaited next would not only shape future, but also define who truly became a long way. In reclaiming power over destiny, I finally understood trust may falter, but strength lies within oneself, unraveling threads woven tightly together, revealing truths hidden beneath layers upon layers, waiting patiently for liberation. And so began journey, a new one, filled not only with uncertainty but also hope, forged amidst darkness, illuminating path forward toward brighter horizons yet unseen. This final segment resolves the protagonist's internal conflict while bringing closure to their journey through manipulation and self-discovery. It emphasizes themes of empowerment and reclaiming one's destiny amidst darkness. Let me know if you need further assistance or any other modifications.